Hey guys, so I'm doing something a little bit more different as to how we usually do things. Now I'm gonna be looking at the psychology of how keywords are categorized by Google. Now because not all keywords are gonna be the same. Now for a local SEO setting, you're gonna be expecting different things in the search result. Now in this case, we're doing photographer in Seattle, Washington. If you do check like SEMrush, let's see first if we have the actual search volume. If this is the exact same keyword that actually is getting the amount of traffic that we ideally should be ranking for. But a lot of these keywords, again, even if categorically in SEMrush, it's ignore that. Just copy this real quick and go to keyword overview. Should give us a good idea of how much search volume people are actually searching for this. And you can see just from the start, it's not the exact search volume that people are. It's not exact keyword that people are actually searching for when they're looking for photographer in Seattle. Probably because I haven't spelled that correctly. But let's wait for that. Okay, so right off the bat, we see um it only gets this amount of volume per month. So if we're gonna be trying to match the intent, I mean it serves the same intent. Keywords are gonna be grouped with different keywords are going to be grouped in similar categories. What I'm saying with this, so if I have on my website an each one that's like the keyword, let's say for example, is photographers in Seattle, Washington. In most cases, newbie SEOs will be approaching this and I'll have this an exact match on the website. So it's gonna be literally photographers in Seattle, Washington with an S. Now, for a local SEO setting, sometimes on smaller areas is actually enough. But if you have to work on creating a good user experience in your website, it's not necessary to just insert the keyword and have it like that. I mean, I've seen people have this misconception that they have to have the exact matching keywords on all the headers. You need to have this different variations and all that. But essentially, your research tools only gives you an idea. It gives you an idea of what people are searching for a particular topic. You're not gonna use this like a sort of Bible where you have to add in all the different keywords that's on the keyword planner, but you need to structure when you're planning a page. You need to be structuring it that makes sense for your client and actual services that make sense for SEO. Now, I'll give you like a practical example. If I go here at Photographers Seattle, Washington, I'm just gonna go and copy this. So we got like 210 monthly searches on average. Now, I don't tend to rely too much on keyword planners because it just gives you a range of the average search volume per month, but it's not the exact search volume you could get with this. Now, there are lots of data points that SEMrush actually uses, and they also utilize the keyword planner API. But I wouldn't rely on the metrics on SEMrush just as a standalone for the actual overview. If a website is getting this amount of traffic, sometimes SEMrush can give like speculation and a trend on how much traffic a website is getting, but it does not cover the accurate data unlike you get from Google Search Console. So I wouldn't 100% rely on this, but just use it as a reference, which makes you able to have a better idea and insights on how you want to direct your SEO for your website. Now, if I search for photographers in Seattle, Washington, let me just change this so that I have a better uh, So this tool is just for geolocation, and I just set it as yes. But ignoring the paid ads right on top, I'm just gonna go straight here. You can see that this keyword is tied with a local SERP feature. So with a local SERP feature, you can see immediately that you have a map pack right on top, and followed by Q&A, the people also ask section, and then the websites. Now, what do you think is the first thing you've noticed? Right, only in the SERP. Like ignoring anything from the tree pack, because most of the time it's the one that actually gets a lot of traffic. But what do you think the first thing is you're noticing? Like just straight on looking into their meta title and descriptions. Yeah, I hope that you gave that a little bit of thought. But one thing that you notice is, like I said earlier, it's, we search specifically for photographers in Seattle, Washington. One thing you notice, there are going to be variations, but the top ranking results are not necessarily just covering the exact same keyword. Now we see in the top, the numbers, second ranking website is actually doing an exact match, and then you can see some other ones that are actually ranking really well, and the top one is not even doing that exact same structure. Now Google has advanced algorithms that sorts and understands the context of the website without having to specifically, forcing in a keyword. you know a lot of rookie SEOs I've noticed just keyword stuff their meta description and their meta title, expecting that's also going to be influencing their SEO. Now that is a very common misconception. The metadata doesn't really directly influence the ranking of a website, surprisingly, but it does influence the click-through rate, and therefore influencing the amount of people that can actually get to your website. And that kind of data actually influences like the overall for the SEO, but it doesn't really directly. So it indirectly affects it through the CTR, but it does not. You want to be thinking in a manner of writing this meta title and descriptions for human CTR. Like a lot of people are just forcing their way into optimizing it for search engines. Google's very smart to filtering out those kinds of websites. And in most of the cases, there are going to be cases where even if you set the meta title and meta description, Google is not going to be acknowledging the ones to create. And I'll give this is a perfect example. Right off the bat, you see that they have set a specific description on their website. They have one set of set, but if you scroll back and go to the search results, Google is showing a different meta description. And there's a reason for that. I think, yeah, they're actually excluding it, a large portion of it, because it's way above the character limit of the search results. But again, I think actually that's not actually a good example, but there are going to be cases like that with different clients, different websites, and you need to be mindful of that. So you need to be writing your meta description to showcase your brand. You need to be able to showcase your brand. So basically, you need three things. You need to be able to showcase your brand, your expertise, and the services and the areas you serve. So you should be focusing on those and making it appealing for someone to actually click. A good framework what I use is when I write any meta description, meta title, I need to be thinking on what is how do I write a meta title and a description that actually makes me as a consumer be click on your website. So you need to think first with your consumers and then funnel in adding in those little bits of keywords that'll give you a bit better direction on actually creating this. Another thing that I've noticed that a lot of the people that are actually ranking on the SERPs are either ranking for their location page or directly on their website. And actually um the second and the sixth position they're actually ranking are for location pages, and a lot of them, the other ones are actually ranking directly for their homepage. Now it really depends on the business. If you're a multi-service business, so you're serving, let's say, multiple areas outside Seattle, then it makes sense for your business to actually add additional location pages and focus on optimizing those so that you get the the rankings you need. Now it's not really important, surprisingly, if you're gonna be ranking for the homepage or directly just for a landing page for the location, basically a location page. Because your effort should be more on proper interlinking structure, having good amount of content for your location page, and adding those, making it easy for Google to understand that you are a photographer and you're serving that area. So let's just grab this random link and let's see how they're actually doing it. Looks a bit weird right off the bat, but let's see how they optimize their headers. It looks like they haven't even properly optimized their website. But in a lot of cases, sometimes in different industries, if you're getting the amount of traffic and clicks and people are actually staying in your website, if you have a strong brand and you have different signals going on in your website, the overall clicks and impressions you get, and the average session durations of your website visitors is actually going to influence your direct rankings. So in this case, photographers in Seattle, Washington is a commercial term. It has a local search feature, and it's very um it's very commercial. So in a lot of cases, people are gonna be ranking this as long as they have the right signals on their website. Now, how you would try to break into an industry like this is you want to look into your foundations, make sure that you have the proper optimization set for your GMB, do proper optimization with your location page. Now, we right off the bat, looking at their location page, they didn't really have a good. They could do a lot better with how they organize their headings. I don't know why that's not loading here. And their meta title and description is a bit too long. So Google's just gonna truncate this, and they're not gonna be showing this exact one that they're showing. Um, right off the bat, some other stuff that we could improve is you can see that they have like proper places to. Actually, this is a good approach as well. So this is a common. You see right here that they have like popular places to take photos in Seattle, Washington. It's very local, and a lot of cases, a lot of different SEO approaches differently. But it looks like they're actually adding it as different destinations on Seattle. You can see that they're trying to optimize this website with uh the proper optimization with locations and introducing geo-relevant signals. So how do you create geo-relevant signals? That's through local links. So that's local business directories, um, local guest posting, and also creating hub. If once you have the hub page, you can create different destinations. So it's gonna be either destinations or neighborhoods. It really depends with the type of industry you're in. But in this case, they are actually creating different hub pages of different places that are popular in Seattle, Washington. Now, although in most cases this will not actually get um have the amount of search volume, but this is a good signal to at least to Google that you are serving Seattle, Washington. You are mentioning different entities. So these are different entities that is popular on Seattle, Washington. I'm pretty sure if I search for a term like this, and let me see if Google actually shows sources across the web. You see right off the bat, I see that they have Curry Park. So they actually are covering those topics, which is great because Google is actually already acknowledging those places. They have it on their database and it is serving as an entity that's related to Seattle, Washington. It's a good approach to actually um, take advantage for. I like that they also have, incorporate a lot of reviews and testimonials. Um, looks like they have put a big emphasis with more for conversion, and I'm pretty sure they have a pretty strong brand because apparently they have like 30K reviews. So I don't know the amount of traffic that they're getting on a monthly basis, but they have a strong foundation. It's a bit more harder to rank. Let me just quickly see. Pull in some of that data. And I'm just gonna see their root. Yeah, you see that they have a good amount of keywords as well that they're ranking. Um, this version is actually a bit more better. So a good way to actually source keywords as well is to look at competitors, see what's the top ranking competitor using as their keyword. They are a strong brand, obviously. So it looks like they're actually an international brand. So this in this case it's a bit more harder because they are ranking for a lot of places. They are ranking for a lot of places and they have a good amount of authority through their backlinks. So this is a very hard competitor to do. But then again, I will show you the top ranking competitor, and let's do a quick search again. Now this is the second ranking website. Let's go into Google. Actually did some crazy work there. I don't know if you noticed that, but there are gonna be cases that you see that they do some live changes immediately. But anyways, let's go into the second position. Apparently, this was the first position earlier, but I'll grab this link and let's see how they're actually looking with their domain authority and the amount of backlinks that they have. I'm gonna expect this to be a bit more higher, but you can see right off the bat, they're actually getting traffic and they're ranking a bit more better despite just having 1.5K backlinks. If you make the comparison with earlier, they had like 70,000 backlinks. So that's you still have a chance to actually outrank competitors that are international brands. Just from the fact that you're a local business and you have a strong GBP. And in most cases, people are just gonna click through, and this client here is actually ranking for this keyword right here on the first position for the map pack. So they're still getting the good amount of traffic here, and if they most people will actually if they won't be clicking through the ads and they'll click here, and if let's say they don't convert right here, some people will be able to see, oh, they also have the website, then they're going to be clicking on that. So you are ranking for 3 points essentially. Ideally, they should be also running Google ads to capture the potential clients here, and people are actually a lot of competitors are actually doing that. But then again, they are really strong with regards to here, and it's really good that they're doing this. One other thing that I noticed, and it's a common trend, if you have your GBP as open as 24 hours, this could actually end up being better for your business overall. Now, how Google actually ranks local SEO is a bit more tricky because the signals will depend on the user profile that Google has made for the customer. Now, this is a bit more advanced, but basically, how how you want to understand at least is Google will show keywords based on what is relevant to customers. So if there's a, let's say there's another business is offering a specific time, let's say they're only offering like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., then even if they have better like reviews, better like signals, Google will not be showing them during um outside those hours because people, it's not going to be a relevant search term for the current searcher. Now even if they had like 1,000 reviews or something, if they're only servicing during that time, they're only going to be capturing clicks for that time period. If we have a competitor that's offering 24 hours, then that's also going to be different because they're going to be actually ranking really well. And you can see a common trend with the businesses here. A lot of the people here have it as 24 hours. Now, there's some few outliers here and there, but just from the top three positions, the top, ignoring the ones that we have unsponsored, just the top three positions, you've noticed that they have it set as 24 hours. Now this gives them an edge. I don't know if they're gonna be offering it 24 hours, but just the fact that they have it set like that makes them more easier to rank as compared to other competitors. Now, it's a bit more harder to go into details and I can explain other different theories that actually goes into this. But we did some testing before with some different niches, and it covers more for contractors. And one thing we discovered when we were doing some tests is a lot of this. Some clients were actually ranking differently during different time periods. So we're thinking, why is this happening? So when we did the geogrid that's outside your business hours, let's say a client operates 9 to 5, and we do a geogrid like on 6 p.m., which is outside your business hours. In most cases, their rankings actually tanked for some reason, despite them actually ranking really well. Now, if you do a geogrid in their business hours, like on 10 a.m., for example, it's the exact same opposite. They are ranking a lot more better during business hours. So it's a cool thing to think about. Google is apparently sorting out the best. The goal of Google is to assist the searcher to have the best result, to be able to find the best result for the searcher. Now, if someone is currently closed during that period, then it will make sense for Google to show an alternative business that's open at that same time. So it kind of makes sense if you think about it, right? Um, but yeah, this is a bit more different with how I usually do. It's not gonna be an audit, but it's just more of an insight on how actually Google actually um categorizes these keywords, and you'll be able to get a better idea on maybe a direction of how you should optimize your GMB and approach that you could do for your website. But yeah,